Welcome to the Sci-Fi Center, the place to be, where comic books and wrestling collide magically. Movies, TV shows, and pop culture we share. Get ready to rock, we're here to take you there. From superheroes to aliens in outer space, we've got the latest news and reviews in our embrace. Turn on your screen, let the neon lights glow. We'll take you back to the 80s. Let's rock and roll. Sci-Fi Center, where the legends come alive. Get ready to geek out, let your imagination fly. We're diving into the past with a touch of modern flair. Sci-Fi Center, the ultimate pop culture lair.
Whew, happy Wednesday, or it's a Wednesday. How are we doing? How are my geeks, my lizard people, my fellow lizard people doing this Wednesday, September 10th? Tomorrow is the 24th anniversary of September 11th attacks. A lot of you weren't even born then, but you're going to get inundated through it the entire day, because for those of us who were around, it was a pretty big deal. It's one of those moments where everybody remembers where they were when it happened. If you've been following the news, it's the only time I'm going to cover it, and the reason why I'm even going to bring it up, obviously, there's been some violence going on today that involved public figures. When there are times like this, and if I'd have been around on September 11th, 12th, 13th, whatever, back in 2001, if I'd have been on the internet, it's times like this where we all need a place like this. So it will not be discussed here, because it's going to be discussed everywhere. When we have these things happen, it's just like I said, you get it from all sides all day. And not that you don't care about these things that happen, it's part of life, but you can only take so much before you need to go get away. And here is that place here where you can get away. So for those of you who don't know what happened today, then I envy your oblivion. But everybody else, there you go. All right. The Duck is here, of course. The Duck is here. Alien Earth is doing a great series. I can't predict anything. What the story is going to get. It helps when there are a few, if any, good guys in the series. Yeah, there's some people in this series, both human and synth, that just need to go away. They don't deserve to live. The only prediction that I had was somebody on, or multiple somebody's were getting face hugged and aliens popping out. Well, that's an easy one there. Hello, Aussie. I know I got at least two Aussies in here. Hello, Antonio Baker. Warrior Dream Warriors. Right song. Wrong one. Dream Warriors is from Nightmare on Elm Street, Part 3. Or the Part 4. Which one is it? I'm ready for October. I'm looking forward to the Smashing Machine and Good Boy. I'm interested in the Smashing Machine because it's like it could be a career-changing moment for The Rock. So, yeah. How you doing, Chuck? Is there any recommendations for going to the movies to a film that's not horror or drama? I don't watch a lot of drama. I mean, depending on what you're going to see, I mean, if you're going, I mean, are you talking about movies that are currently out now or in general? I mean, because obviously, I'm going to say Blade Runner and Blade Runner 2049. I'm going to say movies like Dune and Dune Part 2, Arrival, Godfather. Godfather is a drama. So I'm limited in my scope, Chuck, because I have a preference for certain movies. So that kind of limits my answer I can give you. Let's see. Let's see if my co-host has got the message. Wow, if they ever put this spear thing in Vegas where they got the Wizard of Oz and all those stuff, and you can see it from the outside when you're in Vegas. If they ever put Blade Runner on there, boy, I am there. I don't care how. Out now in the theater. Let's look. Let's see. It's a tough one, dude. I mean, Conjuring is out, Weapons is out. I'm not a big fan of Naked Gun. I mean, I could recommend that to you, but I wouldn't be able to tell you on a on a personal basis because I don't care about that movie. Ballerina is already in on PVD. Nah, sorry, I don't really have anything for you, man. Yeah, that one battle after the next. I've heard very little of it, but not something I was like jumping out of my chair to see. But I mean, yeah, I saw Red Sonja. It's all right. It's all right. Yeah, go see the Toxic. Well, that's technically horror, but not really. Toxic Avenger. Either version, to be honest with you, they're both classics. Go see the Long Walk. I don't know what is the Long Walk considered a drama. It's dystopia, so yeah, Long Walk. I don't know if there's gonna be a Dune Part 4, but it's been a long day. Sorry if I'm yawning. I mean, highest to lowest. I've heard good reviews about that. Everything else is science fiction. Horror is making good money though, so you're gonna see a lot of horror. Science fiction is right behind it too. So yeah, but I wouldn't. We've seen that before, where there's been that kind of stuff going around, and then we end up, it ends up being taken out of context because way a lot of times the way things are shot and edits and stuff. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. What if Denny won't direct God Emperor Dune? I don't think he's going to. Guillermo del Toro, Zack Snyder. I would go for either one of those. Yeah, I think from what I understand, what I've heard, Denny Villeneuve is going to be done with Dune after Part 3, but Five Nights at Freddy. I'm not a big. I watched it, but I have fans. I have customers that are absolutely go bonkers over that. They lined up when I was giving away tickets for that. They lined up for it, man. They wanted that shit, dude. I'm exhausted. So I'm getting this one out the way now. Yeah, Good Boy. Everybody's been talking about Good Boy. It's a horror movie from a dog's point of view. I'm definitely peaked. I'm definitely interested in that. Yeah, I did some research on the games when we were giving away seats. I had people come in and play the game. It's probably what we'll do for Five Nights at Freddy 2. Yeah, I mean that's probably the next one. What else is coming out this year? Ooh, my allergies. Oh my god, where did this come from? I mean, him is coming out, but I'm skeptical about that. Skeptical because Jordan Peele let me go. Let's see what's coming out. films get released in 2025. All right. We have The Long Walk, Downton Abbey, Spinal Tap, yes. Toy Story 30th anniversary, that's a re-release. Yeah, Man in My Basement, Motherland, Tin Soldier. All right, coming out September 16th, Just Bleed, The Compatriots, Rebel Royals. Coming out September 18th, Black Rabbit. Oh, that's a series. Aztec Batman, Clash of Empires. Actually, we gotta get him on the show for that. We gotta get Arnie on the show because this is his project. A project he worked on at least. What else is coming out? All right, September 19th, Him, Big Beautiful Journey. Him they have under sports, but I think that's more of a horror. One Battle After Another comes out on the 26th. Strangers Chapter 2, Gabby's Dollhouse, the movie. It Welcome to Derry comes on TV, HBO Max. Casper, Bone Lake, Wolfman, Killing Faith. October 7th. October 7th, by the way, is going to be the 8th anniversary of the release of Blade Runner 2049. Tron Ares comes out October 10th. Kiss of the Spider Woman re-release. Soul on Fire re-election. All right, October 17th, Black Phone, Pets on a Plane. I'm just looking November. Nuremberg, Die My Love, Predator Badlands. That's the one I've been waiting for. I saw the first 20 minutes of that. The Running Man, November 18th. Now You See Me, Now You Don't. Keeper, Trap House. Wicked for Good. That's the second part of the wing. Eternity, it's Utopia 2. The Thing with Feathers. Five Nights at Freddy's is December 5th. We got a while. Avatar, Fire and Ash. That'll be the biggest movie of the year. Anaconda. So a lot of these are re-release stuff that they're doing in theater. Yeah, nothing really. Hello, Spot. Yeah, I mean, Brad and Aaron are all broken up over that. Didn't really. No, I have not. I have not seen that wrestle. Not bipolar that I know of, but then again, if I was bipolar, I probably would know. Yeah, you got big, especially with comic book movies. Comic book movies are probably going to carry you home. You got two different companies putting out two different high leverage movies, especially Marvel with Avengers and Spider-Man. I think they're going to own the year. So, be right back. Okay. Aaron cracking me up with her fighting kangaroo. It's usually me that's making fun of it, just messing around with Aaron and the kangaroos, but for her to post it was hilarious. Got a kick out of that, Aussie. So now I have two Aussies up here. Surprised you didn't tag me in that. No, I've never been a big Seinfeld fan since I was a kid. I saw the original Tron in 1982, I think. Just didn't grab me then, and just never did. I know other people are. I'm more hyped for the soundtrack than I am for the movie. It's 9 Inch Nails. Because it's something that is not organic from Hollywood that they don't figure is some of their own. I guess I don't know, but comic book movies are movies. Comic book movies do just as good a business as box office. Comic book movies create jobs for the same type of actors that are in these other movies. So I don't know why there's certain people. It's not all of them, but it's just certain people. At least I have Black Mountain and Game of Thrones. Oh, Frankenstein. Yeah, Frankenstein's another one that's coming out in November. Yeah, I mean, but horror makes a lot of money too, and so it's like certain types of people just only like to embrace certain types of movies. It's Martin Scorsese for a while was that way, and I'm like, yeah, okay, that's fine. But I mean, you see the type of people that are in just the mainstream movies and the type of people that are in comic book movies. It's not much, not much difference. Hold on, guys, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I don't think I'm gonna have a co-host tonight. He probably napping. I don't know. I don't know. We didn't get on any later than we usually do. Oh, no, it looks like he's on his way. I've seen one Tron movie all my life, and it was the one from the '80s, and as far as science fiction, I really don't remember it much at all. Yeah, it was. I mean, I just didn't grasp the concept. I guess it just wasn't for me, And like I said, I'm like 8 at the time, so I'm really easy to please at that age, and it's just really I didn't hate it. It just never really jumped. Yeah, that's 28 years later. I'm just not into it, man. Yeah, and how good he thinks Mystery Men, which is I'm sorry for those of you who love Mystery Men. I think that film was absolute trash, and here he comes now to fuck up the show. So hey, but his devices are not connected. He's probably using his ancient computer with the static on it. So let's make one of them there. There he is. He fixed himself. Hello.
Hey, everybody.
Where's your dog? Is the dog okay?
Yeah, he's fine. He's sleeping in the other room, probably.
Yeah, because he used to be whenever you were on, you couldn't keep him away from you. And I'm like, oh,
nah, he's just dead to the world right now. He's probably. I think I got one of those pictures of him like sleeping upside down, looking all goofy. Yeah, he's just laying on his little bed on the floor and just like this.
He just got bored with you, I guess, being on air.
Maybe he's like, he's seen me probably doing this enough where it's like, oh, okay, Brad's on the computer again. It's.
Yeah, because I know some dogs will be like they'll ignore you all day until you're doing something else, and they're like, "You're not going to pay attention to me." Let me jump on your lap.
Oh no,
let's see.
Find a way to do that. So, did you already kind of tackle the elephant in the room before I came on?
Yeah, and I pretty much said like I would, and whenever we have these type of events, you're going to get inundated. You're going to get you right now, right? I have it on my screen right now. There's no way around it, unless you just don't watch the news, which a lot of people don't. But if you don't, and I do. Obviously, when something like this happens, and then you had a school shooting today in Denver, and sometimes it's like a crushing pressure on your head, and you can't move around in life because some of the things that are going on, whether you witness them on the news or not watching it on the news doesn't mean it's not happening. It just means you're not aware of it. But just knowing that this stuff happening is, like I said, this is a place, and I said if I'd have been around on September 11th or September 12th, if we'd have had the internet the way we had it now, and we had streaming the way now, I would probably be on the air doing the same thing, trying to provide a place where people can go without doing that. Because as soon as this show's over, you might go back into that. You're going to go back in that environment. So we'll give you at least an hour, hour and a half, maybe, and where we don't have to talk about that. We're not saying that these things aren't happening. I am not oblivious. I am not, but I'm saying that the human mind needs a place to go or it will collapse under all this shit. And not just today, just in general. It's been a rough decade. It's been a rough 10 years. And I think we would be better off if we just had, like I said, bomb shelters pretty much to go while everything's being dropped on us. So this will be that show today. All right, let's see. 2027 will probably be the biggest ever with Superman 2, Batman. Yeah, well, Batman 2, Avengers. Yeah, that's a massive, especially if everything is going well with DCU. I don't think it's going to touch Marvel though, because of where you're already talking about established franchises like that. But I think DC will do well enough.
I don't think Secret Wars is doing like Infinity War and Endgame numbers though.
Nobody's going to do Infinity Wars. No movie period is doing Infinity War. The only movies that are ever, I don't think Avatar is going to do that. I think Avatar is going to make $1 billion. I don't.
No. I think Avatar is going to do what the last two did. I think Cameron. Yeah. He's the guy who can. He's. It
has nothing to do with him.
You never bet it's Cameron. It has
nothing to do with him. If it were going to stay in theaters that long. But the Fat Cats are not. They are not going to let.
Yeah, but this is James Cameron. It's like the dude doesn't take no for an answer.
It was built into the contract. They're going to put that on streaming. They're going to put that on streaming as soon as they can. There's not.
I would come to Vegas and bet tonight that it does at least what the last one did.
What, $2 billion? No, I don't think it's going to be in the theaters long enough to do $2 billion.
I have zero doubt.
He didn't put up the money for it. It's the people who put up the money that are going to make that decision on that. I mean, it's going to do very well, but I don't think it's going to be in the theaters. It doesn't do them any good. They're going to make a crap ton of. Look at what Superman's doing on streaming right now on PVOD. Now, Avatar. So you're going to cut out. You're going to hold on. They're going to. I don't think they're going to pass up that opportunity to get the majority of their money back without having to deal with a middleman.
But again, it's like if you were talking about anybody but Cameron, I agree with you right now. But again, it's Cameron. The dude is he doesn't take no for an answer, and he's told
that's not something he's going to be asked.
He's told execs before. He's told execs before things like, "Hey, the building we're having this conversation right now, Titanic paid for it." I mean, the dude's got.
But that's but you're not. You're not. That conversation is not. If you're going to say we're not going to pass up an opportunity to get 80% on our return in a different format just because you want to keep it in the theater, especially if he didn't. Now, if he fronted the money, different story. If it's his money, but even billionaires don't spend their own money. If it was his all his money, I can understand. But if there's other people on the hook for the money, the budget, they're gonna want that. They're gonna want that in a format where they can.
That is not though. Avatar. That is not doing the month turnaround to VOD. It's just not.
It's not going to do as long as the second one did. It's not going to stay in theaters. There's no fucking way. People will get fired over that.
Again, if it were anybody
why,
else,
if I put the money, forth to make this movie, why the fuck would I let the box office continue to eat 35%? How much does that movie cost?
Again, if it were anything else, I'd be totally agreeing with you. But it's Cameron and it's Avatar.
So what?
I mean, that's
it's
like
still
that
money.
Just,
he still gets that money.
Doesn't
matter. He still gets that money. He still gets money from the other format. It's not like he's going to stop getting paid. He gets his money no matter what. So if now include him, I mean, how long do you think this is good? This isn't going to stay in the theaters 3 months.
Oh no, it's going to stay. It's not going to do the month turnaround. That's for damn sure.
It's not staying. It's not going to stay in the theaters that long. How long did the last one stay in theaters?
Long enough to make over $2 billion.
That's not my question. How long did the last one stay in theaters? Date number wise. Because you're asking people to leave a lot of money on the table.
But again, it's like if this were anyone or anything else, again, the Cameron Avatar business done that completely overrides everything in this conversation.
But why would he? It gets out there. It gets out there in time for the Oscars. It's gonna get re-released. Why the fuck would he care?
I'm typing this in right now. The AI is going to tell me. No, it's just telling me the run time now. It's not telling me how long it was in theater.
No, the theatrical run.
I said I put in like theater run duration.
No. Put window. Put theatrical run window.
Okay.
Because that's Cameron's money too. Now, how much did that movie cost?
Like the gross domestic product of Belize, probably.
Okay, and like I said,
okay, here it is. So full run. It remained in theaters for months, and this is like AI overview on Google saying it.
Which one are you talking about? Are you talking about the
Way of Water? The Way of Water.
Okay, so it ran from when to
it
when?
remained in theaters for months, with many major theaters concluding their showings by April 2023.
And when did it premiere?
December. It was like December like 15th, I think.
Okay, and after its initial run, because it remaining in theaters could mean like 200 theaters still had it.
You're not by the end there. It's not like
But what was its maximum? Because you can put it on streaming and still have it in the theaters. Superman did that. But how long was the maximum 4,700 screen?
Like that I don't know if that's going to be Googleable. So then,
well, there should be some kind of breakdown. But that's a lot of money that they're leaving on the table. Because like I said, right now, Warner Brothers is making 80% of their money back instead of paying out a bunch of middlemen to get it. They're getting it right in the vein.
Again, I mean, not to sound like a broken record, but again, if it were anyone else or anything else, I'd be in total agreement. But again, did he
negotiate it?
All outliers.
Okay, do you know? Guessing is bullshit. Do you know for a fact, and this is a yes or no question, that he worked a theatrical window into any of these movies?
Well, of course he did. I mean,
not a guess. No, not a guess. Because Nolan did. Okay. Nolan said that. Because unless you have guarantees saying that I am, in order for me to make this movie, this is the window that I am. This is the minimum window. And if he didn't do that, then maybe that's not something that really necessarily concerns him as far as maximum screens. Because even if you put it on streaming, you can keep it in theaters. In fact, every movie that has hit streaming this summer has been in the theaters at the same time it got hit.
While specific contract terms between James Cameron, Disney, and other parties for Avatar: The Fire and Ash are not again AI overview on Google are not publicly available, it's understood that Cameron, as the creator and director, negotiates for a significant share of the film's profits a back-end point agreement rather than just standard salary. This strategy is how he built his substantial net worth, and it's a practice he followed with Titanic, the first Avatar, and then it's got a whole thing about profit percentage, control,
exactly. But that back end percentage, that comes from everywhere. And two, there's nothing in there that says he would dictate the window. He can, once he starts dictating his money and his line share, that comes as part of an agreement. That comes as part of a give and take. So I don't know what he negotiated, and we don't know what he negotiated, but there's nothing indicated that he negotiated a guaranteed, infinite window. If he's getting the lion's share, this movie's going to make a lot of money no matter what. It's going to make 1.5 no matter what its window is. But what I'm saying is I don't have any proof that he guaranteed some lengthy window or that there was a reason for him to do so. His money's going to stay the same. He's going to make his percentage no matter what, because guaranteed that streaming money, he's getting some of that too, because he's the executive producer and he's the creator of the IP. So it doesn't matter where it plays. He's going to get paid. So it doesn't make, it's just what percentages of everybody else who backed the film, including him, do they want to just give up? And you're automatically assuming that he.
Well, here's the other thing: IP control. IP control. Cameron maintains control over the Avatar intellectual property. Well, this is the whole thing.
Creatively. That's creatively.
Rather than 20% Century Fox, now part of Disney. Financial strategy. This approach allows Cameron to earn significantly more than standard director paychecks when his films are successful, as evidenced by his estimated net worth in 2025. Profit percentage. We already kind of went to that.
Yeah, see, all these are his money. They don't. I don't think none of these have anything to do with, release dates and cutoff dates and everything else. It guarantees he's going to get paid a boatload of money.
I'm gonna look up when Way of the Water hit. PVOD. Because I just can't see a scenario where this plays any less of a theater run the last two did.
We're talking, dude. What year was the last one released?
22.
22. We may as well be in the 1800s
Okay.
as far as that goes.
Avatar: The Way of Water's digital release date was March 28th, 2023.
Okay. And 2022, which is, what year are we in, Brad?
We're 20.
What were we not? No. What were we? We were not putting these movies in short windows in 2022. That's the last year, and barely at the end of this last year. That's what has been done, because they got greedier and they wanted their money faster because of the amount of money that was leveraged. These people wanted their money back sooner and with a higher percentage yield. We were not doing that in 2022. So 2022 may as well be, like I said, a horse and carriage. It may as well be a horse and carriage. And now with the strategies of these streamers, they're all in on it. And like I said, he is part of that in on it. He's going to get his money.
If it were anyone else,
you're not giving me a reason. That's not a good enough reason. Why?
Because again, I just laid
why?
it.
No. Not believing in not Santa Claus shit. Why? Give me a business reason. Give me a business reason why he would do that, or why he would even have that control.
James Cameron.
Okay,
that's the business reason.
No. What was negotiated? Can you tell me for a fact that window is negotiated by him? Not guessing. It's a yes or no question. Can you tell me for a fact that he negotiates the window of the movie?
Well, how is that even relevant?
That's relevant. No, because you're saying that it won't. That just because it's James Cameron, it's going to stay in the theaters forever. If he didn't negotiate that, that's no. And since neither one of us know that,
what reason do we have to expect that he didn't?
Because he might not have that when he took all these other concessions. These negotiations and everything you just read off, it's a give and take. So you give me this control, I take this control, and you take this. We're going to pay you infinite amount of monies, because this movie's going to make money on it's going to make tons of money on streaming. He gets the residuals, he gets royalties whenever streaming service it's on. He gets paid as long as this movie exists. So when you make those negotiations, the other side is going to be, well, then we're negotiating this. And see, neither one of us were inside that. So I can't say that this is how long this is going to stay in. Neither one of us can without knowing what they negotiated. Like Nolan outwardly says what he negotiates. He says it. He says it on interviews, and he makes that public, and Universal makes that public, because Warner Brothers would not give him. They were never going to give him that kind of concession, because as much money as he's made for them, there's more money being left on the table.
Well, we were also smack in the middle of the first couple months of the pandemic when Tenet came out.
Yeah, but even then, right now, if Nolan were working for him right now, he'd walk away anyway, because Warner Brothers is going to be like, now we want our 80%. We paid you up front. You get paid first dollar. So we're here getting crumbs. So that would have broken up no matter what. But Nolan actually said that. That was actually public knowledge of his negotiation, because that's why he does movies with certain studios now. But there's no outward negotiations that said that James Cameron ever did that. Everything you read is what's been negotiated, what's out there. And there's no guarantee, now if there is, there is. But if there's not, I'm not just guessing because he's James Cameron. When you say he's James Cameron, he's going to get a shit ton of money, and he's going to make a shit ton of money. Yes, that James Cameron being that means.
Yeah, he is his own business case on literally everything he does.
He does not own the studio. He does not own the studio. He does not make the rules for the studio. He can negotiate, and if he negotiated that, then yes. But if he did not negotiate that, him being James Cameron doesn't mean shit for that. If they did not negotiate their rights away for their theatrical window, doesn't matter who the fuck it is. That's just plain and simple. It's what you negotiate. Now, if tomorrow they say James Cameron comes out and said, you know what, I negotiated, and he can say this, I negotiated this 3-month-long infinite amount of that doesn't make any sense. We're gonna keep this in here until July of 29, and I negotiated that in there, and that's it. And the studio will say, yeah, sure, because it's going to be public knowledge because they're a public company. But if he doesn't say that, you just can't assume that this is going to stay in theaters forever unless something has been negotiated, because there's a lot of money on the line that a lot of other people are going to make. He gets paid outright. And then he gets a whole country's worth of residuals and money even after that. So it's not like a money situation for James Cameron. and you're going to get it re-released. You're definitely going to, because this movie's going to be up for Oscars, because it gets released in December. It gets released December of this year, making it Oscar eligible. So it's going to get re-released. So now that second release, probably around March, it's going to pull in even more money because it's going to have even more exposure because it'll have probably about 12 or 13 Oscars. I'm passing on it. It's not my type of movie. But I know that doesn't mean the rest of the population is going to go see it. But no, I would not automatically assume that this movie is going to stay in the theaters forever, or that what they're going to do is, if, say, for instance, okay, Avatar makes 1.8, 2. I don't know if. Here's the other thing that we're not even saying is you got to realize this is not 2022. People are fucking broke. If it ain't the day you're on, don't assume shit. People are fucking broke. They're having to make tough decisions. And with streamers and everything else, yeah, they want to take their kids to the movie to see the Blue People. They want to do that. But you know what they also want to do? They also want to pay their phone bill, their rent, their food, the things that they got to do. And those things build up. So they got to make some decisions. So it has nothing to do with it. Oh, it's James Cameron, or we love this movie. It's, wow, do I want to flip my switch and my lights come on type of situation. So you also have to consider those situations. Where is the audience going to be able to afford to see it? Because it's a family movie for the most part. This is that 4-pack movie. So you have to, and they're going to look at that. They're going to look at that because they're not going to, if it's not pulling in that type of money, because we aren't in 2022, it's 2025, then the theaters are going to be like, we need these screens because these are playing on massive screens. And then the studio is going to be like, okay, 82% of this is going to be made here. When do we pull it closer to the table so we can get all of our money back? Because they're fucking greedy. So, and he's part of that negotiation. It's not like they're doing it without James. I almost said James Gunn. It's not like they're doing it without James Cameron. James Cameron his people are in on this because they get that money too. I just wouldn't guarantee that any movie, no matter how good we think it is it's going to make what its predecessor make, but it doesn't need to. Fucking, if it makes 1.5, 2022, that would have been like, oh, 2025 when we don't stop counting the money until the money stops being made. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter as far as like the total is what the totals being. They're not going to look at the people who put this movie out are not going to look at the box office total and think it's a failure if they don't hit 2 billion, because you know what? While you're looking away at the box office, they're looking at their accountant and they're not taking their eye off of him or them because they're still counting money. So I would not guarantee that this movie is going to stay in theaters forever, or that it even needs to make 2.5 billion in the box office when there's a ton of money that was not there in 2022 for them to cash out on with a higher percentage. It just immediately, as soon as it gets to them, that 35% goes away. Now all those names and faces that are on these streaming companies, the ones that look a lot familiar that are on the studios, they're starting, and James Cameron is going to get a lion's share of that money. And he's got toys, and he's got physical release, and he's got a re-release. He'll be fine. But like I said, if if this whole Daredevil and fucking Deadpool thing, if James Cameron comes out and says, well, I negotiated a 3-month window and that's the end of it, then yeah. But even then, like I said, that doesn't mean money grows in people's pockets. It says, oh, you're going to keep it out in 3 months. Now I can afford. If they can't afford to see it right now, and that's what's happening a lot of these theaters. A lot of money is being left on the table because people are spending it in other places, and they know that the streaming opportunity is there. So yeah, I mean, who knows? Yeah, you shouldn't bet on James Cameron, but that's not betting on James Cameron. That's reality. That's financial family reality. That's negotiation. You can't guess that just because you think that, unless you see it in black and white, or you do the Christopher Nolan thing and he explicitly says it on TV that, or whatever, that this is what I wanted. These are my demands. Warner Brothers was never going to give me that demand, and they should not. But he said it. We knew.
Okay, let me put it to you another way then. Is there anything in Cameron's history that indicates to you that he would not do that?
Yeah. Everything. He's never come out. James Cameron says what the fuck he wants. If he would have negotiated that, you would have heard about that. Especially now with people belly aching over, oh, why you can't keep it in the theater for 10 years? He's a guy, he's old school. He's old school. What is he going to say?
Exactly, he's old school. That's my.
If he would have known, but if he would have negotiated that, why wouldn't he have done like Nolan and just outright just say it? It's not gonna. Nobody's gonna. There's nothing that can happen like that. You know, I mean, but a lot of these guys, and probably Cameron included, don't want to box themselves into, because believe it or not, and it's the odds of it happening are obviously very low. But let's say it doesn't do well. Let's say it doesn't do as well as they expected, right? Makes a shit ton of money, but it's in there. Week 3, we have a massive drop off, and they decide, you know what? It's better for all of our revenues to get this to a streaming platform. I'm not saying that's going to happen, but it's a possibility. There's no guarantees in like that. There's possibility, and you would want to negotiate that. You know, that's all I'm saying is, you know, I don't know I don't know if he was involved in the negotiation of the theatrical window. Because not every director, no matter how powerful they are. You could probably count a couple of them on your fingers, and some of them don't even. Spielberg doesn't do that, you know. So, and Spielberg's like considered the GOAT when it comes to directing. So, by a lot of people, I got different opinions, but yeah, like I said, we can't just guess what somebody negotiated. You could be right, but I don't like guessing when it comes to this kind of stuff, because then we look like fools. All right, let's look at where we're at here. But whether it makes, like I said, the question is not whether it makes $1 billion or not, in my opinion. It's whether it can reach $2 billion within its theatrical window, because 83% of its revenue may come in those first 2 weeks. Disney does 90 days. Not all the time. There's been instances where Disney has not. But to your to this, Disney can,
Okay.
Disney can afford to, though, because remember, we did cover this, because Disney's revenue doesn't come from movies, it comes from the parks. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, Google again. I mean, AI overuse is so crazy. Like, what's going to throw back?
Why you can go to a human? It's got to be a human that said this.
Well, I don't have a human like right in front of me right now. But I typed in, did James Cameron negotiate the theatrical window of Avatar? AI overview says yes. James Cameron's incredible success and significant investment in Avatar gives him substantial leverage to negotiate favorable terms, including theatrical windows. As a champion of theatrical releases and owner of the film's intellectual property through his production company, Cameron has the clout to demand strong theatrical windows and has demonstrated this by maintaining extended runtimes and the continued commitment to the theatrical experience for his films, including the Avatar sequels. Now, I guess a couple more things like when Cameron does this like high stakes deal, like under like how, in fact, I'm going to pull it up here on the screen. And again, this is not me like favoring theaters or PVOD one way or another. This is like just my.
Either way, part of the negotiation, we don't know the intricacies of that negotiation, though, because once again, if the movie slows down, it does neither party good to just keep it in there, because now your percentages are dropping.
Okay, so high stakes deal. When Cameron secured the green light for the Avatar sequels in 2013, he had the top 2 highest grossing films of all time, Avatar and Titanic. Given immense negotiation, that's okay. Champ of theatrical release. Cameron's a vocal advocate for the.
No, hold on. Theatrical release or theatrical window lane?
Or theatrical
release has got to get in. Yeah, we know it's going to get in the theaters, but with the window, how long did he negotiate the window for?
It doesn't say here how long he negotiated for, but again, the fact
that's a big factor, because he could be in on. He doesn't necessarily need to favor a 5-month window for this particular movie. He doesn't necessarily need to do that. They're releasing it in December. It's getting Academy Award buzz. And once again, if it just say, for instance, it doesn't, like it's going to do well, but if it doesn't reach certain milestones by certain amounts of time, that they're like, okay, at what point do we take that momentum into PVOD? And that's got to be part of that negotiation that we're not ever going to see on here. That's a backroom negotiation. And once again, this 90-day thing, even for Disney is the last one that can afford to do it, because out of all the people, Disney does not make its money off of no matter what amount of money Avatar makes, they could shake out of their shoe on the parks division, and they could buy and sell Avatar at a discount. 38 billion is more than 2 billion. 38 billion is more than 2 billion. So they can afford to give up some revenue. I don't think they necessarily will, because it's a big boom for Disney Plus. As soon as you can get that on Disney Plus, that's retention. That's just the business of 2025. So we don't know his negotiation of the window, which is what I said from the start. Did he negotiate a 90-day window? Or, it depends. And just, and Disney, how many, because there's been a lot of Disney movies that I promoted that didn't stay in the theaters 90 days. Or stay in the theater 90 days, but not alongside a streaming element. You see what I mean? There are some theaters that had them in there, but they had already released them. You could see some of these movies on streaming while they're in the theater. So there's no really guarantee. Okay, I got it. You're buzzing. Hold on. Let's see why that we took too long on that. As soon as if you can find where he guaranteed, and like I said, I just don't know in 2025. Now we're talking 2026. The business has changed. The business is changing every month. How about the news of Fede Alvarez not returning to direct Rhyme of the sequel? I've been saying I think he's going to end up directing the third Koreans to compete. Well, he's still executive producer. He's going to write the movie, as far as I know. He's not going to direct it, but he's still going to be executive producer, him and Ridley Scott. So I'm okay with him not directing it as long as he's overseeing. Now, if he's not in it at all, then because I do think he is going to tell the Prometheus story, even if we don't get a Prometheus 3. But if we get a Prometheus, not 3, or if we get a third part of that, that story, Paradise is what it's called, I'm all for it.
Well, anyway, going back to where I was a minute ago, with Superman's on PVOD now, and
oh yeah, because that was a big. John Campea was going crazy over that today.
Because I've never seen another movie like the release that like every last dime it's made has been just monitored under the microscope for
conversation, dude.
And why? And again, why is that? Everybody, you in the chat, tell me why that is. Why you think that is?
I think Secret Wars will make Infinity War numbers, but I don't know if it will. Yeah. There's no reason why I couldn't.
I think it'll probably do.
The only reason why I couldn't is because of the reasons I give. If they decide that they want to maximize the money, and the Russo brothers have no leverage over that. That's all Disney. So if Disney decides, you know what, we want to get this movie on PVOD while we keep it in the theaters, that's fine. We can keep it in theaters 90 days. But you know what? We're gonna start making our money on this on our own. I don't. So if both Avatar and Secret Wars stay in the theaters, and Secret Wars is going to be a second one, but if they both stayed in the theaters for infinite runs, no, there's no reason why both of them would not make that money. Avengers is a proven brand that has done it, and James Cameron has done it multiple times. I don't see especially if it's built up, depending on how it's built up. Now, if we have a bunch of duds in between now and then, but you got Spider-Man, you got Doomsday, you have other movies in between. A lot of it's going to depend on remember, No Way Home built a lot of its money not on Tom Holland. It built a lot of its money on the nostalgia from the two other Spider-Man from the two previous generations. In this movie, you're going to have everything everybody ever wanted to see. Every Fox fucking character, every old nostalgia memorabilia character. You're going to literally have No Way Home on steroids, because there's going to be a lot. Dude, you're going to have the X-Men in there. You're going to have Hugh Jackman in there. Deadpool's going to be in there. You're going to have, you might have.
Probably going to have Captain America. I mean, you saw Chris Evans looking all jacked at Toronto.
Captain America, Iron Man, Tony Stark, Iron Man, plus I don't see any reason if you kept it in for that type of run, that it could not do with Endgame did. But like I said, even if they keep it in there 90 days, which I don't think is going to be the case, but could be wrong, they are going to release it on PVOD before that 90-day period. They're going to release it. There's no way. It would be bad math. It would be bad math, because not everybody who sees it because a lot of those repeat viewers cannot afford to go back the second and third times in this economy. Even if you came and you nerded out and you're like, oh, it's so great.
Oh,
That second time around, oh shit, okay,
this is even
I
better
got
than I thought it
bills.
was. Okay, so
So-
so kind of going back to where Ballerina. You know, my thus
Okay,
far
where
my
the fuck did that come from?
thus far my favorite movie of this year. I remember really like when you saw.
Was it mine? Hold on. What did I say? My
Well, you really liked it. You said no, you like after
I
you
love my Thunderbolts. I really
well
love
when you
Thunderbolts.
like when you saw it early, like you immediately messaged me saying you're gonna love this movie.
Yeah, I love Ballerina. I
yeah.
thought it was criminally underperformed, but I know we had a
But-
show and why.
And this has changed. But can I bring up anything on Amazon like on here without getting in trouble?
As long as you're not playing the motion,
Yeah, I'm
as
just
long as
bringing
you're
up
not
like
playing scenes from the movie, you should be fine.
so yeah, just if I like this like the Prime Video like how everything's doing kind of.
Oh yeah,
page.
you can do as long as it's not a
So
it's
and
motion stuff.
it just in fact I just I got my copy I think on the bed. It just released on Physical Media on Tuesday and it's doing pretty well there. But right there, it's at number one on PVD on Amazon. I'd imagine similar business elsewhere. But what's really interesting about this because when I looked at it last night, it was actually sitting at number 3. And what's interesting about that is that it did like the month like turnaround from like theaters to digital, so that would have put it like it's on digital in July, probably like mid to late July. I need to look back at the exact date, but so it's holding like number 3 spot from July to like mid September, and now I'm assuming I think it's probably safe to assume it's like gotten back up to number 1 like as an offshoot of the Physical Media release. But again, that's
awesome.
holding. But again, that's holding this well in digital sales like that long after that's pretty impressive. That's
justification for justification for the continuation of the series because it's right now we're looking at money here. Oh, by the way, before I put Aaron, no, there's no guarantee for all studios. So most studios are never going to give up their control on when they release a movie because of the fact that it's not just their decision. They borrow this money. Most of these movies are borrowed money, and those people lend that money and they get a percentage back of that money. So it's a big kerfuffle as far as the decision making goes.
This is what I said about Ballerina at the time when it was all doom and gloom about kind of the opening weekend and is the way I even wrote a piece on Compo where I talked about like in my mind, like the best point of comparison with this in commercial terms really is the original John Wick because it's in the world of the franchise, but you're also introducing a new character nobody's ever seen.
And you don't have him in it.
So, you have him in it, but he's not the focal point.
Title guy.
So this in my mind, Ballerina was like equivalent to basically like a new like John Wick from the ground up. And it did, even like we're gonna bring inflation in the equation. It did about what the first one did, and the first one was notorious for like being like a modest hit theatrically, and it built its audience.
Yeah, it did make a lot of money. It did make the kind of money that people like.
It was successful. It was successful. Don't get me wrong, but it was a sleeper hit. But it built its audience over time. Like once it left theaters, and then just snowballed on home media and on digital, and I think with like this, it's like again, this is like 2 months after. It first dropped on digital, and this is where it's sitting at right now. And again, last night I saw it number 3. So I think it's like it's arguable we're seeing the similar kind of snowball effect of like, okay, this was a modest success theatrically, but now it's like it's the word of mouth is accruing in the secondary release market, on digital, on home media, and we're basically seeing like the original John Wick, in terms of the commercial performance, like basically like repeat itself. Ballerina.
Okay. First, we have to determine what underperforming is. That's not up to us. So I don't know what the
When you say underperforming, like you just mean like make less money.
If you say, "Oh, well, I only made 1.4 billion when I didn't make 2.1 billion," if that's underperforming, then I will be an underperformer. I'll take that underperformance because of the amount of money. They're still it's going to be profitable. You're still going to make money on the back end. I just like once again. The length of time, if both of these movies are given the length of time, they could do it. However, just like I said before, and this is the same thing that would affect Avatar, it's not how great the movie is and how much you want to see it sometimes. It's if you can afford to see it. Here we have a number demographic where it's the family going to see a Marvel movie. It's expensive to take a family to the movie. You know, in a better economy, you could do family multiple trips to the movies like this. But like I said, in it's just you have the same generation that was making hourly what I was making at their age, which means their cost of living has gone up, but their revenue hasn't. Now you're in a different situation than you were when this all started. So you could have a situation to where it doesn't matter whether it's James Cameron or the Russo brothers or Avengers or anything. Listen, if I can't afford to eat steak, it doesn't matter if you put it on, if you serve it. If all I can afford is bologna, then that's what I'm getting. So that's a big part that I think people are overlooking, that you may not, for that reason, you may not reach what their predecessors did. And then if that becomes the case, if it seems like they're slowing down or they think that they're peaking at the box office, those studios will have to make a business decision to be like, okay, it's tailing off here, but that tail off in the box office is massive momentum for this PVOD. And you have to make a business decision at that point. So underperforming, it all depends on who determines what level is underperforming. It's the people who are putting forth the money are generally the only people I really care about on that, because it's their money. They're the ones that set the goals. So, all right, choose my destiny. A lot of
kind of bring it back to Ballerina. Like, what are your thoughts on like everything?
I think it was what we discussed a couple of months ago. I thought that.
But I'm talking about like what it's doing right now here.
Well, I don't know what's sparking it though. I don't know.
Like I was looking at this last night. It was at number 3 last night. So that's still really high. Yeah.
I think it's great. I just don't know why. I mean, I think it's great. I knew it would do well, because this is the kind of movie that, it's to watch at your house if you're not going to if you're a John Wick guy, because less people went to go see this movie than saw the last John Wick. So they lost an audience there. However, in your home, on your TV, it's a different risk. So maybe those people are now taking the risk. I thought they should have gone and seen in the movies, but hey, I understand. You have to pick and choose your movies. You have to pick and choose your spots. But I think it's great. A lot of movies I've seen this year barely get a 1 week. Yeah. Well, yeah, and some of these smaller movies,
like one of them right here, Nobody too. That was, that's about what it. And I saw it twice theatrically, and it was in that it was like a 2-week turnaround from that to digital.
Samir, okay, I think that Spider-Man No Way Home, I don't know about 1.9 billion, because Toby and Andy were a big part of that movie's revenue. They were a huge part of that movie's revenue. I mean, damn, they're making 2 billion. You know what I mean? But Spider-Man Far From Home did well as well. So it's not like, but man, the craze around No Way Home was something else, man. I mean, but once again, if Spider-Man, if there's a movie that can do it, it will be that one. But once again, it matters of how, because to be honest with you, I think there are some movies out here that did good money this year that would have done more money if the economy was there, if the affordability was there, if a lot of these things that are really crunching your pocketbook weren't there. You could possibly be talking about more for weapons. You could be talking about way more for Fantastic Four, because once again, in a decent economy, the back to school doesn't hurt you as much as it did this year when everybody's pinching pennies because everything is up. So yeah. You wake up, pathetic fool. Oh, you weak. What's she doing?
Or is that like Shao Kahn at the end of Mortal Kombat? You weak, pathetic fools! I come for your souls.
Maybe she's doing that. I thought Thunderbolt was the best comic book movie of the year.
I enjoyed it.
I think Thunderbolt is still, but man, Sinners is up there too. It's been a pretty decent. Thick Anna Damara is looking good. Oh damn, there you go. Can't believe I read that out loud. All right, let's see. Brand New Day will be closer to No Way Home. It's possible, but like I said, how much of it is going to be front loaded? And where are we going to be at economic wise too? Because the tariff situation could get worse. And even if you're not buying some of the things that are being tariffed, you may work in an industry where your job, and your walk through your clientele, things like that. In Vegas, I mean, even if you don't directly buy lumber from Canada, you're talking about, construction industries and people being able to having disposable income. These type of things interfere with your disposable income. And that, what do you do with your disposable income? You go to the movies with it. All right, Disney strategy seems to be 60 days to PVOD, 90 to 100 days to streaming. And yeah, well, that makes sense because you get the $29 on the PVOD. In 2021-22, Shang-Chi, Eternals, Doctor Strange 2, and the Batman released on streaming 45 days, skipping PVOD. Yeah, it's just gonna be it's gonna be how the movie is. They're gonna be monitoring it too. Because you also don't want to put yourself in a situation to where you have theaters trying to negotiate those windows too, because then every time you do that, you give up just that much more control. Let's see, Spider-Man. What's my age again? Yeah, it's 2022. Like I said, might as well be like 5,000 years ago, believe it or not. We're literally almost 4 years away from that now. We're literally, a couple of months away from 2026. And every year from that point, the dynamics has changed. People's finances have changed. In fact, just from 2024 till now, people's financial situations have changed, and in most cases for the worse. Your dollar just doesn't go as far as it did, in 2022. So, we're still, and plus habits change. Habits have now rounded out to the point where the streaming element, the streaming option is now an automatic for some people. It used to be like, I need to see this in theaters, and then maybe I'll watch it again on streaming. Now it's I may see this in theaters, but I'm definitely going to see it on streaming. And if I'm definitely going to see it on streaming, and I'm not taking the family to it, then it's an easier decision to make. It's just it's just what it is. So, all right. You got anything else for the cause there, Brad?
Well, Aaron does, that she shared with me earlier. I'm gonna share the image for this on here.
If it's not the kangaroo, don't bring it up because I saw the kangaroo.
Oh, the kangaroo was awesome, Aaron.
The kangaroo was because she did two of them.
Well, this is our next couple stream, our watch parties. They're over the next week or so. One of them is this timeless comedy classic.
Fucking movie.
Again, it's like the
is that in the dollar bin? Is that is that in the dollar bin?
Oh, this is what they look like. The DVD covers like Australia.
Oh, okay.
They have different art. They have different artwork in the.
You didn't pay for this. You didn't pay. Mr. Man, they should have handed you for free as like a coaster. Gosh, movies.
Oh, and by the way, we should invite Perp on that one because
I'm going to need other people.
He mentioned it's like, don't forget the shoveler. He shovels well. He shovels very well. Yes, indeed, he does. Perp.
Because you got, like I said, I'm not going to have too much to say about this movie other than bad things. So the more people you have to shine this turd up, the better.
I don't need to shine up. It's solid gold.
You need help.
You don't need to sign up, man. You shine up at all.
You need help. True, but Spider-Man and Avengers are still widely popular. Deadpool and Wolverine just did 1.3 billion. Once again, Deadpool, I don't believe Deadpool does $1 billion without Wolverine. And I don't believe Wolverine does $1 billion without Deadpool. I think the combination of those two is what pulled the movie over. But once again, you're gonna have all these people in Avengers. They're probably going to have, these movies are going to be long as fuck too, by the way. You're going to have everything you've ever seen. Everybody who's still living is going to be on your screen for at least a couple of seconds. I mean, everybody's going to be on there. Other than people who maybe, I don't know if, Anna Paquin is healthy enough. If she's healthy enough, she'll be there. If she's not, she won't. But Halle Berry's going to be there. They're all going to be there.
I thought she was Wolverine.
You have literally generations of people that are going to drag each other to the movie for this movie. So this movie is going to do well. I don't, like I said, I don't know how much, but it's not going to fail. It's not. I don't know what underperforming is, but whatever it is, I don't think that these two movies are going to do it. I hear Long Walk budget $20 million. It's gonna. It looks great. It looks great. I did not get a chance to go to either one of my screenings, but I will be going. I will be going sooner than later. Yeah, once I saw Mark Hamill, I can't believe I was in the room same room as Luke Skywalker. But anyway, he's playing the Major. He comes out in his role and gives his speech that he gives in the movie. That movie had to be sold. And like I said, it's getting everybody I sent to go see it the other night had great reviews for it. Mad Max Fury Road. If I had my choice, that would not be the movie.
I would love that. I would be down for that.
If that's all I had, then yeah. But there's so many other movies.
Just that Sandstorm alone on that sphere screen.
I mean, I'd rather see either Dune movie before that. Obviously, Blade Runner 1 or 2. I'd rather see that. Any Star Wars movie, Star Trek movie would be cool to see that. Last Starfighter would be cool.
Again, like Man of Steel, BVS,
Man of Steel,
Wonder Woman.
Yeah, there's a lot of movies.
I bet No Way Home would probably play pretty well in there too.
Yeah. I think No Way Home would be cool. Some of these movies would be cool, but movies like Blade Runner with the entire atmosphere from top to bottom is immersed to where when they add those things to it, it would be, No Way Home is just a lot of sky because I'm flying around. Dune would be a lot of sand, but I still would want to see it. So. Okay, I don't want to see Human Centipede.
No, we're not. What the hell?
Screen, dude.
Who would want to see that of all things?
That movie was nasty.
On the sphere screen. Come on.
Yeah, that's what I thought, and I figured $1 is all you should be paying, if anything, for Mystery Man.
No, Aaron, is it?
Yeah,
that's exactly what I cover my DVD when I got it back in I think 01.
Yeah,
that's what the DVD box are. Again, this
with a
timeless comedy classic.
Yeah, timeless fucking garbage.
Timeless. Yeah,
Spears is expensive. Yeah, we were pulling up, and Brad wasn't here that night, but I was pulling up prices.
No, I was there for that.
Were you? Okay, yeah, it's a couple $100 for minimum. But like I said, if they did 2049 on there, I'll find the money. I'll sell some Blood Plaza. I'll sell something.
Yeah,
I will find the money.
Yeah, as Aaron says.
Oh yeah. Blade Runner 1 and 2, or one or 2. But Blade Runner 2049 more so because they go more places and there's more depth and height to those buildings in there. So yeah, I would love to see. I hope they do it. The minute they do it, I will find the money. My cheap ass will buy it. We'll go without. Something will have to get cut from the budget. Oh, jeez. What? Okay. What did the Buffalo say to his son who was going to college? Yeah, Star Trek the Motion Picture, Star Trek Wrath of Khan would be great in there. So, all right, guys, I'm about to wrap it up because I have to do setup for Rocky Horror tomorrow morning, early for a Friday show. So I have to be up earlier than usual. So I'm going to wrap it up here. Tomorrow is Peacemaker episode, I think 4. Is it 4?
No, yeah, it is 4. Yeah.
It's 4 because I got the graphic up. Episode 4, 11:30. I will see you guys then. I'm having fun with the series. It's not better than Alien Earth by any means, but it's still fun. Alien Earth is something else.
You think that because he's really played up the last 3 episodes as the big kind of turning point or the part everyone's really going to be talking about when it's all said up. But do you think there's any curveballs you might see in these last 2 leading into those last 3
I think
episodes?
there's definitely going to. I would be just at this point. I would be disappointed if there wasn't.
But I'm talking about these 2 as again, he said last 3, that's where you really all the big twists.
Well, yeah. I understood your question. I would be disappointed if there better be. You tell me some shit like that, they're better. And at this point, Corn Sweat Superman's not enough.
Yeah.
At this point, Corn Sweat Superman.
Well, I mean,
at one point, yeah, maybe, but now I'm
Peacemaker's in his movie because it's when they post a picture on social media, it's yeah, of course we know you're going to be on his show.
Yeah, I think it may be a new character. It's either a very popular character from somewhere else. I mean, but we're also talking about 3 episodes too, so it's probably not just one thing. It's probably a bunch of things that just keep smacking you in the head, and that's what kind of shit I like. I like not knowing. Not knowing is really cool. The internet has shown us everything and spoiled everything for us. I like not knowing. I think it's fun to not know.
Yeah, again, I really that soundbite where he hasn't even shown his publicist those 3 episodes. That's where he's
that's the way to do it.
Emphasizing the hell out of these 3 episodes.
That means he knows his publicist is a leak. Probably getting fired. No, I'm just kidding. All right, guys, we will see you tomorrow.
Really, again, it's if there's a 1% chance, he has to take it out of blue certainty.
Yeah. Like I said, I've already given you guys my guess to who I think will want him. But at that point, that was like weeks and months ago. I'm actually thinking he might have a whole
You're
kit
thinking
and
big.
going on.
You're thinking like,
Yeah.
Do you think, here's a good one I'm gonna throw out there. Do you think we might see Darkseid?
I think there's a possibility, even if we don't, and for you anti-Snyder knuckleheads get in here saying there's garbage. I only say that because technically the universe everything that James Gunn spawned from came from a universe that had Darkseid in it. Darkseid is outside the multiverse. And while he's on Apocalypse, he is outside of all of this. So there's a possibility you could see a glimpse of him. Does he play a significant part in anything? No, but you may get a glimpse of him sitting on the throne.
And when I say that, I'm not necessarily thinking like film like new scenes. It's just like maybe like play like a clip that we just take some of that footage and like just
like he goes and opens up one
quick.
of these doors, and in Dark they just basically regurgitate this no one
just the Darkseid portal scene.
Yeah, when the portal when he turns around and Peacemaker's like, oops, not that one. So there's something like that. I mean, I could see it right now with this crazy man and what he's kind of foreboding. I don't think anything off the table. So, all right, guys, I'm hungry and I'm tired. Not a good combination. We will see you tomorrow night for Peacemaker. Have a nice morning.
See you guys.